We are going to begin our technical session actually. So our first speaker is Professor Dr. Sadhan Kumar Ghosh, who is an expert on sustainability issues, waste management, and circular economy. So I will give a brief introduction of Professor Sadhan Kumar Ghosh. Professor Sadhan Kumar Ghosh is the Director General, Sustainable Development and Circular Economy Research Center, India, and the founder advisor, Center for Sustainable Development and Resource Efficiency Management, Jadavpur University, Kolkata, India. He is a renowned personality in the fields of waste management, circular economy, green manufacturing, supply chain management, sustainable development, through processing of hazardous and municipal solid waste, plastics, waste management and recycling, e-waste management and recycling, and management system standards, ISO and TQM, having collaboration in more than 35 countries. He served in Larsen and Toubro Limited and the Gramophone Company of India Limited, and also as the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Head and Professor in Mechanical Engineering at Jadavpur University, and the Director of CBWE, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Government of India. Professor Ghosh is the founder and president of the International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water. He received several awards in India and foreign countries, including the Distinguished Visiting Fellowship 2012 by the Royal Academy of Engineering UK, and Boston Place and NABC 2006 award for the most eco-friendly innovation for conversion of plastics and jute waste to wealth, conferred by the North American Bengali Conference 2006, Houston, Texas, in the ESP 50K business plan competition. He received 3 patents in India and Bangladesh on eco-friendly plastics recycling machine and the process thereof. He wrote 10 books, more than 50 edited volumes, more than 260 national and international articles and book chapters. He is the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Solid Waste Technology and Management and associate editor of the Journal of Material Cycles and Waste Management. He developed and initiated policy on anti-plagiarism, Jadavpur University 2019. He has been the principal investigator of more than 20 international and 20 national research projects. In the international arena, Professor Ghosh is an international consultant expert of the United Nations Center for Regional Development, Asian Productivity Organization, Japan, China Productivity Council, Taiwan, the Institute for Global Environmental Strategies, Japan, and SSCP Sri Lanka. He has been serving as a member of International Steering Committee and editorial boards and served as the keynote plenary speaker at international conferences in several countries. He has initiated the movement for worldwide sustainable waste management and research with perhaps in many countries, with partners in many countries through the consortium of researchers in international collaboration. He was the convener of ISO TC 61 WG2, a member of the Indian Mirror Committee of ISO TC C23 Circular Economy and ISO TC 297 Waste Collection and Transportation and Management and ISO TC 207 Environmental Management. He was a lead assessor and trainer of ISO 9000, ISO 14001, WH SAS 18001, HACCP 22001. He is the chair-elect of the 30th ICON SWMC 2023. If you want to know about him in more detail, you can visit his website www.sadhanghosh.com, or you can Google him. He has an ORCID profile and ResearchGate profile.
My association with this department is from long back. I had a number of friends in this department. We went together to the mountaineering, different mountaineering. We had a mountaineering club. And I have the person here in my drama. Okay. There were a number of good actors in this department. And now there are a number of researchers in this department, and Shishir is one of those. I am sure that some of the friends are from Australia. Okay, it's nice meeting you. I have also some collaboration with your organization. Haynes is there. And you know that today I have come here to tell you something about how and what is your role towards the sustainability and how you can achieve the sustainable environment. Why this question comes? Because mineral is always a very, very important entity in our civilization, in industrialization. And for last 50 years, with our industrialization and civilization, we have seen that the extraction of natural resources is at stake. We extracted more and more and more. We have wasted more and more and more. And today, my young generations are thinking that whether we can survive or not with this small reserve of minerals, small reserve of natural resources. So with this thought process, you have to start your research on critical minerals supply chain, research on critical mineral. So if you talk about 20 years back, researchers did not have to think about the conservation of the resources very much. But today, whenever you are developing, whenever you are industrializing your process, your system, your society, whenever you are doing your research, apart from use of the material, any material, not only these minerals, because all the materials, if you consider, those are related to the natural resources. In the first stage, or in the, if you consider the life cycle of the material, you will find that somewhere it is coming from the natural resources, from some mineral. So whenever you do your research, you must be very careful and sincerely looking into the sustainability of the material which you are using. So first comes, is it possible to recycle it? Is it possible to reuse it? But beyond this, at the initial stage, it comes that can we reduce the use of this material? What is my research? My research should be having a multi-pronged approach, but out of those prongs, one should be reduce the use of the minerals, reduce the use of the critical minerals, critical resources. So that is very important. And on the other hand, you have to be very careful about your results or the outcome from the research. So let us have a look on next. These are my topics. Next. You know that we have a sustainable development goal. It was Millennium Development after 2015. And then we thought that no, it is not very effective. That's why it was revised and Sustainable Development Goal 2030. We have a target and we have 17 goals. So whenever you work with critical minerals, you must look into all the points. Innovation. Research is an innovation, but within the research, one of your innovation components should be how to reduce the use, how to strengthen, how to lengthen the use of that particular material. You have to keep in mind. Otherwise, even if you are coming with some outcome, your research will not be recognized by the world-class people. But if your research has one more component of the sustainability, you will definitely get the recognition throughout the world. Right? So that you have to keep in mind, not the characteristics of the critical minerals. You have to study also how this has been reduced in several countries, several researchers, and you will get all the detail in the different journals. Right? Next. This is a picture I have given you. this is no way, you may say no way related to natural resources, but on the other hand, you can think of this situation which may crop up from the natural resources utilization, right? There are drop. This is November end, December. I am not very much comfortable using this even today. Go back 15 years. Oh, the temperature here is at least 10 to 12 degree Celsius, but today it is around maybe 16 to 20 degrees or 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. So these are all effect of, one of those causes are more and more use of natural resources, more and more use of minerals. So we must restrict. Next. I was telling about, see, what is the increase in the use of natural resources. So today, we must think, the first thing is that whenever we talk about critical, means you are at stake whenever you are using this material. You are not comfortable of storage, stock of that material. This is number one. Number two, you have a pressure that reduce the material use, reduce the extraction of that material. Even if you are not extracting, help in reduction of the extraction of the material other countries. Who is your partner? And the third is, what is the result you have achieved from your research? So at least three-pronged approach you must have whenever you talk about the research, whenever you carry out your research. Next. This is just for your interest. You know that we use a lot of material and we waste a lot of material. Like sometime people in a city feels proud that we have 2 dumping yards. We have big dumping yard. What is the dumping yard? The material which you are wasting. It is not waste. You are wasting the material which are usable. And my bigger area of research now is how this waste material can be converted into resources. How this waste material can give you pushing your business. How you can develop your business. And how the landfill, you know that NGT, National Green Tribunal, it says that no landfill in India. So what we are doing, we are digging the material from the landfill. We are checking which are the useful material. Like today, the building in which you are staying, it may happen that the waste which you are generating, those have been used for manufacturing the cement by which your building is built. We are today putting the waste into the cement plant, manufacturing cement. We are putting the waste in the digester. We are providing you the electricity out of the waste which you are generating. There are a number of areas where the recycled material, you know that the papers, there are many paper you will find that material recycled paper. So these are the outcome of our wastage of different materials in the world. Similarly, we are also wasting huge amount of minerals which are scarcely available in our country. You should be not only as a researcher but also as a responsible citizen, you must keep this in mind and act accordingly. Like what is this? See, these are all some of the countries I have given. These are the amount of waste which you are generating and putting it into the garbage yard. Waste generation. How much waste you are generating in India? If you are in Calcutta, you are generating around 800 to 1 kg, 800 grams to 1 kg per day. And you are wasting that material. So this is per capita And this is collection efficiency. Like the waste, you know that the municipal corporation, they are collecting your waste and putting it somewhere or in the recycling. And here, these are all recycling processes. And you know this column, you will find somewhere it is 92%. So the 92% of the waste which you are creating, which you are generating, you are putting into the landfill. But Korea is one of our countries in Asia. And our culture in Korea culture long time back was more or less same. See the condition. By 2020, they had the target of only putting 3% of the total waste they are generating. Then where are 97%? They are putting into the recycling process. And they are generating resources out of it. They are producing products and they are creating a lot of employment and the business. So if Korea can do, why not India? India has a very good and flagship program, that Swachh Bharat mission in 2014, 2016 Swachh Sarvekshan, Atal mission. All these things are really working very well in our country. And I'm proud to say that in next 5 or 6 years, the waste management activities, the way in which going ahead, in next 5 to 6 years, India can place itself in the map of world as one of the best player in waste management. So this is the responsibility of each of you to participate in that. Forget about your research. If you don't do it, your research will not sustain for a long time. These are all researches which you have. And all the types of material is there. Even some of the minerals are also going here without knowing or unknowingly. Right? Next. We have urbanization. And you know that smart city. India had a mission of around 100 smart cities. And maximum number of smart cities now in India. So smart city means more urbanization, more development, more utilization of natural resources, more wastage, but it should not be. The last part should be lesser waste. And if we turn today as zero waste, so the activities in which you are, whether you are eating food, whether you are doing research, whether you are doing traveling, if you travel, you decarbonize the process. So that instead of taking one car for one person, put 5 person in a car. So you are helping in decarbonization. You are reducing the emission level. We have scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Are you sure about, you know, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3? If you don't know, read it. These are all available in the website. Today, one young guy must know all these things. He or she may not be an expert, but he or she must have the knowledge on it. If you don't know, you cannot contribute to it. And your contribution is a contribution to the society, contribution to the country, contribution to the global sustainability. Next. And the same thing. The decarbonization process, why it is required? We are like nowadays, if you go to Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, you will find a lot of emission. I mean, in Delhi, it was maximum. But emission means you are not only creating problem for the society from the environment. What you are doing? You are wasting money. Emission means something which is unburned. And your process is not to unburn. Unburning means you are putting cost into it. Right? So the engine, the process should be designed in such a fashion, the system should be designed in such a fashion that the emission level is at zero, or at least to the maximum possible low limit. India, I mean, there are a number of minerals throughout the world, and you will find, if you see the map of the world for minerals, you will find that USA rich in such. India is rich in these minerals. The countries are there who have big reserve for some minerals but zero reserve for other minerals. But with respect to the development is concerned, mainly we are now very much fond of this. And maybe my friends, you might have one or two, I have one, but you may be richer than me and you may be two or three. This means you are utilizing more critical mineral. The IT sector, lot of improvements are there. The satellite and others, more use of mineral. Vehicle, that e-vehicle, use of mineral. Enhanced quality of battery, mineral. So, if we look into the modernized system, the improved technology, advanced technology, most of those involve the use of minerals. That means you need to have the reserve of different minerals, otherwise your improvement will be at a stake. Where from you will get? Request Australia, request USA, request Tanzania, Mozambique, African countries, Bangladesh, Nepal, any country where their reserve is more, but there is a surplus, or you have a one-to-one bilateral agreement of giving you. So think of it. What is critical mineral? You know that metal or non-metallic element that has two characteristics. One, it is essential for functioning of modern technologies, economies, or national security. Number of defense equipment, those needs minerals. And the second one is, there is a risk that its supply chain could be disrupted. Like say now war in where are the wars going on? Which countries? So many. Yeah, the improved weapons involved this minerals. So if you have a condition that we will get a supply of mineral from those countries who are involved in the war, what will happen? You will not get it. The supply will be disrupted. They will say, sorry, I need more, so I cannot feed you. So if you don't get, will you be continuing your improvement process? Yes or no? So if you don't have it, it is a problem. So that's why we have come to identify the critical minerals for each of the countries. We have identified, how many you have identified in India? The critical minerals? Yes, how many? How many? Yeah, most of you did not read it. It is 30. India has identified critical minerals, 30 numbers. What's the number in EU? What's the number in USA? You should read it. I'll show you. Yeah, the risk, what are the risks? Production or processing of dominated by individual countries or companies that could limit the availability. Some is manufacturing, some business house. So they said, our process cost is very high, so we have to give the higher cost. If you don't, I'll not supply. Finish. Countries, similar way. If we have a treaty, but or contractual agreement, but you know that the process costs and other things are very high. If you are not giving me the cost, then the other country is just standing behind you. Otherwise, we will just cut the supply. So all these points, like say natural disaster, mine accident, political decisions, so many things which makes your mineral as a critical mineral in your country. And do you think the mineral which is critical to your country is the critical mineral for USA? May not be. Maybe, but may not be. Right? It depends on your reserve. Next. It needs for clean technologies initiative, like such as I was telling that zero emission vehicle, wind turbine, solar and many other. Information and communication technology, including semiconductors and advanced manufacturing input materials. And today, goes back. The expansion, the modernization is very fast. So, and this very fast modernization, very fast development, we are very much depending on use of minerals. This is very important, this too. One is the national security. You have the need for the mineral for your defense equipment. Immediately this is cut. What will happen? Defense is very important and vulnerable point. So you need to have it from any other countries at any cost. Similarly, supply chain vulnerability. Supply chain vulnerability. Your supply chain cut. What you will do? So, to prevent the disaster, the problem out of all these conditions, the government of different nations identified some minerals as critical mineral. And India has identified 30 minerals as critical. They have number of, but for others, either it is not very much required or its reserve is very high. So these are the supply chain vulnerability is very, very low, maybe zero. So that's why only 30 we have identified. I'll show you on which we are very much dependent, even 100% dependent on other countries, and on which we are less than 0.1% dependent. Next. Yeah. So what are the challenges? There are a number of challenges. So whenever you are improving your technology, there must be investment in mining. So this is very important. As I was telling, that if you are poor, then instead of giving you a lot of advantage, we will screw you. If you don't have supply, then I'll tell you, yeah, I can give you the supply, but give me the cost, enhanced cost, and you are bound to do it. That's why you will see that India is giving a lot of aid to many countries. We are thinking, "Arey bhai, hamara kya hoga?" But thing is that, on the other hand, India has some contractual agreement that you cannot screw us. You have to supply anytime and every time. Higher supply risk, of course. This is another. So all minerals, I mean, each minerals may have some impact on the environment. Each mineral may have some impact on the health issue. So what are those? How it can be handled? Like say uranium, you cannot go every time and any time just in the vicinity of that. There are some procedure which has to be followed. Even if you go to Kalpakkam, I went several times. Negative environmental, social, very important thing. Our country is. What is the next point? What is the next point? Corruption. Yeah. Now everybody is very much having idea that what is corruption and what is non-corruption. And I mean, when we were young, we were finding who is corrupt. But today, the situation is such, you have to take who is non-corrupt. Similar thing is also happening over here. You have to be very careful. Misuse of public finance, weak governance, it is also a part of this corruption. And What are the key recommendations? G20, they have taken a very high level initiative so that the critical minerals are not at stake for any countries. What are the three things? One is strengthening international cooperation, sometimes bilateral, sometimes multi. Improving mineral governance, adopting a circular carbon economy. I will go to this. Specifically, I'll expand what is this. And the third is mobilizing finance and investment. Next. Yeah. You should know what is the process involved. Before you think of circular economy, you must know the processes. That's why I have just given a typical process. What is this? You got the raw material, lithium, cobalt, nickel, graphite, and many other things. This is mainly the battery supply chain. And then next process is material purification and refining. There are refining processes needed. Sometimes we call it pre-processing, if it is at all needed. But that technology will tell you whether it is required or not. And depending on the specification of the material which you will be using for your research or any other production process. Then comes this process material and cell manufacturing. So you will I mean, this is also pre-process, so you will find which one is suitable for particular application for that. So you can get the cell manufacturing, small identity of different processes, and there may be cell manufacturing A, cell B, cell C, which differs to some extent from one to other. And then pack manufacturing. This is the end of life recycle and reuse. How to do this? You will have the processes also. You must know that how it can be reused, because you know that the minerals or any other material, its life cycle, some of the time its life cycle is much more. So just use it and throw it away. Cost, environmental damage, health damage, and many more things. So you have to know, you have to be very much educated on that. Then comes this. These are all your output from the process. You have utilized the material and you may get the electric vehicle, storage battery, stationary battery, defense material, defense equipment, aviations, and all this. So the last part is a very important part, which makes the process sustainable, is the last one. What is the last one? Yes? Recycling and reuse. But very important. You know that if you start like this, you cannot reuse or recycle. It is not so easy. Saying recycle karo or reuse karo is very easy. But when in reality, it is tough. Unless and otherwise, you go through some of the processes. Next. I'll come to that. Yeah. Now your answer to the question which I placed to you. Can you tell me what are those? How much is this? Which country? Then what is EU? How many? 34. Australia? Is it right? Then Japan 31, UK 18, Canada 31, and India has identified 30 minerals as critical based upon the 3 stages of assessment process. Right? So that means you see that United Nations, United States, they have identified 50. That means they are at more stake with respect to mineral than India. Maybe like more than double the risk factor. Next. Yeah, I have already told about that, but only more important thing is you have to achieve net zero. What is net zero? It is simply the emission of carbon dioxide and GHG should be zero. What is the process by which you can go to net zero? I told the name, the term decarbonization. So decarbonization is a process you must know very carefully to apply in your research. And we have in India that net zero 2050. This is the target for us. There are a lot of work which is being carried out in different sectors and also in mineral sector. Next. Yeah. Now see, these are the 30 minerals which we have identified. And I have already told this. So these are the 30 minerals which we have identified. Next. And I was telling about what is our dependency of natural minerals on others. See the condition. There are 100% dependence on different countries for a specific material. But what is your, can you have any observation from this list? Strategic observation. Lithium 100%, this entry. Any one strategic observation from you guys? We'll give you prize then. Pardon? Heavily dependent on China. Okay, no prize. And anybody else? Look, I was referring to supply chain sustainability, supply chain vulnerability. What is supply chain vulnerability? If you are dependent only in China, as he was telling, forget it. We have Belgium, Netherlands, US and Japan friends. So that means you are not dependent on any one country. Why? To protect the supply chain vulnerability. If any country is saying, I'm sorry, I have 4 other friends. Okay, and this is very important strategic decision. Whenever you will be a decision maker, you have to look into it very carefully. Okay, next. Where critical minerals are mined, forget it. This is available in website. You will find it. Next. Yeah. So the G20 recommendation, very important for the supply chain stability rather. Adoption of circular carbon economy framework. There are promote resource efficiency, implement a strategic environment assessment, and reporting procedure is very much important. So you know where you are, what is the present status, and where you have to go. Support research and innovation to develop new and improved technologies, because the technological improvement also will have a look that whether you are dependent on the use of that mineral resources or not. Then the foster international cooperation, because international cooperation is very much required. Here, within the states, you don't need much cooperation because central government is there. But your international cooperation, international contractual agreements, all these things are very much required. So these are create international critical mineral observatory, which will be supported by the UN. Next, support countries to develop a long-term strategic plan. Very important. If you develop a technology, say defense, this is for 1 year or 2 years? No, this will continue for 20 years. So the contractual agreement for this supply chain sustainability, you must have long-term contractual agreement. Otherwise, you are at a loss after some time. Create G20 critical mineral security partnership. G20 CMST. We have it, but you have to be party to it, very active party. You have to dominate there. And next one is improving mineral governance, advancing and adopting your global ESG. You know that ESG is very important today. Environmental, social, and governance. This is a collaborative approach. Any work today, you must have a collaborative approach like government, R&D, industry, and the society. If you do something which involves problem, which involves emission, society is involved. If you are doing something which is not in compliance with the legislation, government involved. If you need to work, you don't have much money, so industry needs to support you. So in that way, this is a collaborative approach, and ESG is very much required everywhere today. That's why throughout the world, even in ISO, we are promoting ESG. Then all these best practices, invest capacity building and training, and mobilizing fund and investment. Of course, this is very much required. If you don't have money, you cannot go ahead. So you know that in India, there are a number of legislation, and from 2014, as I was telling, on this sustainability, on environmental sustainability, on reuse, recycling, 3R, there is a huge mass awareness. I'm just specifying huge mass awareness, and I want each of you to be included in that particular group. I need you guys to have more awareness than previous, and I'll be sure if you can enhance your awareness level from 10:30 a.m. on 4th December to 11:30 a.m. on 4th December. I'll be happiest person. You know this sustainable development goal, but ours is very much concentrated on 12. What is that? What is that? SDG 12? Anybody? You will get a prize. SDG 12? Oh, you don't read. Sustainable consumption and production. Hey, give the material, produce it. Oh, sir, lot of wastage, forget it. I have money, I purchased it, and let there be some wastage. No. You know, I'm not sure whether you know or not. Do you know Bata India Limited? Do you wear their shoes? Are you sure? Do you know Bata Second? Anybody? Oh, because you are rich and your fathers are giving whatever you like. You know Bata Second, with some defect, they give 30 or 40% discount for the product. Many purchasers are there who used to take those. That means Bata is not wasting. If there is some defect or little rejection, put it in the second lot, so that the material is not wasted and the business is continued. So similarly, in each of the processes, you must think in that way. One is reducing the waste, another is utilizing the waste. So SDG 12, can you remember? SDG 12, what is that? Sustainable? Yeah, last benchers. What is SDG 12? Sustainable consumption and production. Sustainable? Excellent. Next. You know, we are now coming to the circular economy. Can you read this? Yes, please. Come here. You come here. Read for all of us loudly. Take it. Come here. Yeah. Like me. Louder.
Circular economy.
No, nahi hoga. Who is?
Circular economy is a system-level approach to economic development and a paradigm shift from the traditional concept of linear economy model of extract, produce, consume, dispose, deplete (EPCD2) to an elevated echelon of achieving zero waste by resource conservation through changed concept of design of production processes and material selection for higher life cycle, conservation of all kinds of resources, material and or energy recovery all through the processes. and at the end of the life cycle for a specific use of the product will be still fit to be utilized as the input materials to a new production process in the value chain with a closed loop material cycle that improves resources efficiency, resource productivity, benefit businesses and society, creates employment opportunities, and provides environmental sustainability.
Each of the word has a meaning. Okay, wait, your work is not finished. So, what is it? Circular economy is a system level approach in the organization. That means throughout the organization, it's not only island. Throughout the organization, circular economy must work. But what is circular economy, sir? Yeah. It's you know that what we do today, we purchase the material, as I was saying, use the material, some production process, then from the production process you get some product, then you use the product, and it has a life cycle. So maybe your mobile, after 5 years, throw it away and purchase a new one. Okay, and by throwing it away, you are disposing the material, and if you throw away full, that means you are depleting that material. You are not using that material, right? So we call it, what is this called? EPCD2. What is EPCD2? EPCD2? Yes? First you are extracting the material, then producing the materials in production process, then consuming the material, then disposing the material at the end of life cycle, and last, forget it. This is linear economy of the processes. It's a linear. If you need to have a circular economy, there must be a closed loop. It should be circular. How? This is an elevated echelon, higher level. What is the higher level? You are going to zero waste concept. That means disposal is there, but depleting is not there. So depleting means you are wasting the material. But from that disposal point, you have to come back again. No waste, zero waste. How? Elevated echelon by achieving zero waste by resource conservation. You are conserving that resource through changed concept of design of production process, material selection for higher life cycle, conservation of all kinds of resources, material and energy recovery, all through the process. That means the material which is at disposal stage, you have to conserve the material by some other process. The energy which is spent, you have to conserve, you have to reduce the energy. Like say, you have you seen boiler? If you go in front of the boiler, you can't stand. It may be 80 degrees, 70 degrees Celsius. So what is it? Where from that heat is coming? Heat is the energy. So that heat is coming out means you are wasting the energy. How can we do it? We can tap it and then use for water heating. So then that heat energy is conserved, is utilized. The similar way, the light, any other thing, you must, like water. If you go there, you will find the tap is open and the water is going away. What is it? It's not the conservation of the material. Water is very important, very precious. So all the resources, you have to be very conservative in use and disposal and recycling. So with all this, what is ultimate game? Whenever the mobile is not fit for the use, whenever your mineral is not fit for the specific use, this is very important. Still fit to be utilized as the input material to a new production process in the value chain. With our closed loop material cycles, that improves resource efficiency. As a particular intended use, you must consider that material at the disposal stage to be fit for a second production process. That means you are utilizing that material which reaches the end of the life as a intended use into a other production process. So what happens in the other production process? Your resource efficiency is enhanced. The resources which you have taken from the mining or natural resources, you are utilizing again. That means for the fresh production process, your extraction is more or less, higher or lesser? What? Lesser. If the total production process, your requirement is X, then now you need to extract X minus Y. Y is the material which you have already spent in your life cycle. So this is the way you are enhancing the resource efficiency. Similar way, your critical minerals also need to be done. You have to consider the design process, and this is very much possible if you can change the design of the production process and material selection of higher life cycle. So if you want to recycle, if you want to spend, implement your concept of circular economy, where from you have to start? You have to start from the conceptual level of the process. That means that your research with the minerals, critical minerals, should start with the thought process that I must have a changed design, I must have a changed design production process, and I must select the material which has a higher life. Of course, cost is also involved. So you have to balance it. Cost, life cycle, the material availability, and more, and also the feasibility of the material for best use. And what happens then? You will have resource productivity, benefit business, society, creates employment opportunity, and so on and so forth. So this is circular economy. And this is my definition, which I have given in one of my books, which was published by Springer in 2020. And this has become very popular definition of circular economy. So throughout the world, we are working on circular economy in a bigger way. If you implement circular economy in place of linear economy, like in Australia, there are many processes where now the circular economy is implemented. In several factories, they are now going for the resource efficiency in the circular economy process. So today, whatever be your subject, whatever be your research area, you must know, you must focus on circular economy and decarbonization. Because in my language and opinion, circular economy and decarbonization are the way of life for everybody. Nobody can deny. So maybe we have some question answer session.
Yeah,
they have? Yeah, please.
Did this concept of circular economy came, and why it was not used in the previous years?
Yeah, Vito. What will you do with this? You have your brother? No. What will you do with this shirt when it is, smaller for you or faded?
Be used for cleaning.
It may be cleaning ho gaya. Now you are thinking, huh? Yeah.
Cleaning the floors.
Either you give it to others to use for some time, and even if it is not possible, then wipe it out. So can anybody tell me whether it is a circular economy or linear economy? This is linear. So thing is that at that stage, if you think, okay, ma, you keep this. Whenever the rack pickers will come, I'll hand it over to him. Or there are a number of shops who purchase this. So if you go and give him, even don't take any price, then this is on the right track. So what they will do is they will send it to the textile mill. They will process it. Again, new textile will be prepared from you. So instead of throwing it away and putting it in the dumping yard, you are now generating a not only new product, you are generating, you are helping in developing a small business. From that, some money is generated, some people are employed, and as a matter of fact, the environment sustainability is there. So previously also, because in India, we were not very rich by tradition. So we used to like say books. In our time, in his time, if I have a book, say class 7, after when I am promoted to class 8, instead of throwing it away, what do we do? Hey, you are in class 7, take this book and read it, don't purchase. So this is also one type of circular economy. Okay, but why it has not come? People were not aware of it. Arey bhai, you have a dump yard. Why you are waiting for that recycler to come and hand it over? Fill it out. Throw it away. So this is the concept. But today, the awareness generation is such, and you were not at stake at that time. If you consider 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you were not having the idea of sustainability that way. It came only in 1978 and then percolated throughout. And now, as we are at stake, we are thinking, we are considering, we are researching on the sustainability issue. But that time, very few bothers. And those who were bothering, others were calling them mad. What they are saying all nonsense. So today, those mad people become the leader of the world. That this is the way we have to go. So that's why we didn't think. But many countries thought, you go to Japan, you go to European country, they thought quite early and they are getting the benefit out of it. Right? But it's good. I'm again telling that I am very much proud of India's condition now because we have 138 billion of people, 1.38 billion of people. It's like if you consider Australia, how many Australia's size is India? If you consider any country within Europe, it is around 20 times, 25 times size. So it's not so easy for controlling the concept of the people. But still, we are now in a good position that we are now having more awareness and more awareness throughout the India, throughout the country. And as I was saying, in next few years' time, we will put our India in the world map as a significant player on circular economy and waste management. All the rules, what I have shown in 2016, all the waste management rule, we have converted those, we have revised those based on the circular economy concept and 5R concept, or rather 3R. 3R concept, what is 3R? Reduce, reuse, and the recycling is the last. But keep in mind, circular economy is not only recycling. It is only a part of, recycling is a part of circular economy. But most importantly, as I show you, revise the design. Enhance the design. Enhance the design, manufacturing process. If you had 5 sub-processes, reduce it to 3. So this is the way. Select the material for a higher life cycle. Select the process where the decarbonization is more, the emission is more. So all these things. And the last word which I'll say is, circular economy gives you a lot of financial benefit. Lot of financial benefit. So with this, thank you very much, and I thank, yeah, please.
Our new protocols and technologies for mine.
Yeah. Your question has its own answer. The first is why India will try for exploring more sources. Why? Why it will explore more sources of critical minerals? Why? Yeah, anybody? Yeah, that's the answer. So I showed you, no, there are somewhere 100% dependence. Even if you can reduce to 45%, will it be beneficial for you or not? This is number one answer. The second one is the protocols. Different protocols within our country and with other countries. This will always help. Like, say, today with China, there is a treaty or contract. Now, if we, develop some protocol where there is a condition that whatever be the relationship in other areas of our two countries, you must not fail over here. If you fail, the international court or others, we can go ex parte. So, and within the country also, you see that whatever are used, minerals are used, specifically the private agencies, what they are doing, you don't know. So, if there is a protocol within the country, then the reporting, one of the protocol may be reporting. So, whatever you are doing, you must report to the government. The transparency is another thing. So, this protocol will always help in sustainability of the critical minerals, and it may happen that exploring more and more, and this can be also one of your research area, that exploring the possibility of reducing the dependence on other countries. Government will give you award if you can identify that. What happens? That means your expenditure is less, exchequer. Number two, your dependence is less. And number three, you can be more confident on development of new technologies based on that. So this is always good.
Thank you so much, Professor Ghosh, for your excellent presentation and active interaction with our students. The issues of climate crisis, circular economy, and sustainable living are most important aspects of the modern world. We have only one earth as a source of our resources. Therefore, all these issues should be a part of the modern course curricula in our academia. We are really grateful to you for your valuable time and unselfish support. We are enriched and learned a lot from your talk, and we look forward to your continuous support in our future academic activities under the new policy proposal between India and Australia, focusing on sustainability issues that include exploration of critical metals in India in collaboration with CSIRO Australia. Thank you so much again, Professor Ghosh, and have a great day.